Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Please post my story as anonymous. And when you post my story, I would appreciate it if you can give me a link so that I can listen to what other people are going to say about my story. I am a 48-year-old man. I was born and I was raised in Mpumalanga. Right now, I am a successful businessman, but I am using the oil. It's more like cooking oil that comes out of my sandawana that was given to me by my Sangoma. This thing, it is making me to live a normal life to other people, but it is not a normal life. What has been happening is that whenever I impregnate a woman, she delivers the baby, but all these babies, they are coming out dead. I have impregnated 9 women so far who have went on to give birth, but they did not hear the cry of the baby. I am old. I want to have a son. I don't have a son. I am married though. My wife, the one that I loved the most amongst my girlfriends, she does not understand that I am the one to be blamed. The reason as to why we can't have a child, it is all because of me. She blames herself. My wife, she has tried almost everything that you can think of that can make her to fall pregnant, but she can't fall pregnant for me. She thinks that if she falls pregnant for me, then she would have secured the future. Even if I die, then everything is going to become hers. But what she does not know is that the deal that I made with the devil, once I die, everything returns back to the devil, maybe to be given to another person who would have started making his or her own rituals. There are those that are struggling right now in life. And when you see someone that has a nice car, you wish to be like them. I remember this other day, I had parked my car close to the entrance of the mall. So when I was returning back from the mall, in front of me, they were 2 guys that were talking about my car. They did not know that I am the owner of the car. They were like, "Did you see that car? I wish that God can bless me so that I can have a car like that." I looked at the other guy. He seemed to be from Mozambique because he was speaking Tonga, but it seemed as if he's not South African. This man, I felt so sorry for him because even though he was wearing dirty clothes, like full of cement, which means that they were coming back from work, I said, lucky you are using your own sweat and blood to get honest money. If you knew the things that happen to me at night, the things that happen to me in order for me to maintain this wealth on a yearly basis, you would celebrate the little that you have. If there is anyone right now who is unemployed, it is better that you are unemployed than to have money like the way that I have, but you can't have children. There are rules that you have to follow, rules that can even have you arrested. It's not an easy thing to hijack a mad woman so that you can sleep with him. What if you get caught? It's prison straight away. I'm not that successful businessman that people think that I am. I deal in transport and construction supplies. I own 3 side tippers and I have contracts delivering at different companies, not wanting to mention the name of that parastatals that I do have contracts with. From the outside, my life, it looks clean, but inside it is not. I am a playground for dogologies and demons. There is something that I have been doing for the past 16 years that I have never told anyone, not even the women that I have been with, not even my closest friends, not even my relatives. Brother Nashim, I have my relatives that are staying, I'll say that they are staying in Akonhoek, changing the location because I do not want people to know more about me. They are staying in a village. The life that they are living there, it is quite a painful life, but I can't assist them financially, even though they know that their son has made it big in Nelspruit. But I can't give them money because once I give them money, then it means that the curse that is on their lives, it will be broken. I have my relatives under a curse that the way that they die, everyone that has passed away in the family for the past 17 years, ever since I went to a Sangoma, they have died after being stabbed to death in a tavern or a robbery gone wrong. It is caused by the Tokoloshi, for it favors a violent death. What I did, Brother Nashi, is that there are rules that I have to follow every year. When it is in August, around the same dates, the same week, I have to disappear for a couple of days. When I come back, I would be fortified. There is no one that can do anything bad to me spiritually, because I would have been fortified. I would have gone to a place where you meet up with demons one on one, but I come back exhausted, and I spend so many days just sleeping in bed because of the ritual. It is very exhausting. Every year I have to die. Like, I die each and every year. So in the beginning of the year, like right now, I make sure that I would have had impregnated a woman the previous year, and I calculate my dates in advance that she is supposed to give birth either in February up until May. Once I fail to do that, then it means that I'm going to be hit with a disease of mental illness that will never be cured. So when I date women, I have a number of women that I sleep with without using any condoms at all. So once I impregnate a woman in the right time, then I know that I have prepared the first step. The next step is for me to disappear, go to the Sangoma's house, where I am locked up in this other room for a week, where I die. And when I wake up, I would have been blessed by the Tokoloshi. I was not always like this. I grew up in Akonhog, in that village. We were poor. We're not so much poor that you go to bed hungry each and every day, but we were just poor. My father, he worked hard. Working hard is not going to make you to become rich. Working hard is the first sign that you're going to be poor for the rest of your life. Rich people, they do not work hard. Rather, they work smart. They know how to use their mind. My mother, she was struggling as well. I was the eldest son in the family, which meant that I had to carry expectations before I even understood what was my role in the family. When I finished school, I did not go to university. There was no money, even though I was bright and intelligent. I went straight into hustling. I tried everything: selling airtime, buying and flipping small goods, worked at an Indian hardware store, helping people to move goods. I had a friend of mine who had a buggy. So this friend of mine, he used to borrow me his car. Then I would carry people's goods. Nothing really stuck. I would watch other guys as they were moving forward, those that were working in the government, getting cars, buying houses in Nelspruit. I stayed in the village. Life was just difficult for me, especially when I started to realize that I was dead broke and I was poor, like no man's business. It was something that was hard for me, especially the time when I had this other girl that I was dating taken by another guy. I don't know how to explain the pain that I felt. That woman, I loved her with all of my heart. I had given her everything. The little money that I used to make, I used to give that woman all the money that I would have made. But then she went on and she started dating another guy. It was so painful. Then I moved from Akonhok and I came to the city. I started to work in the city. That was when I met a guy through a friend. He was older than me and he was working for another Indian. So this man, he told me that he knew about Sandawanas. I had heard much about your Sandawana because we used to have this other guy that was from Mozambique. He was working in our village. So I used to spend some time with him just talking because he used to smoke weed and I smoke weed as well. So we became friends. And as time went on, that was when this guy started to tell me that he knew more about Sandawanas and he knew about this other Sangoma that was now in Mpumalanga. He was a Mozambican. I said, please take me to this man. We ended up going to Bush Park Ridge. When we went there, that was where we met this Sangoma. He was a nice man. He understood that I was someone that was suffering quite a lot in life. We arrived in that village where he stays early in the morning, and he told us that we had to wait until the sun was up so that he can start assisting me. He then started assisting me, and he told me that in order for me to be able to get good luck from the Sandawana, first his ancestors, they were going to try to see if I deserved to be assisted by him, because his ancestors, they give you a test. I was then taken to another room after I had paid the money, and I saw that inside this room there were two other men, but these men, it's like they are not real human beings. You can only see them at night. When I was taken into that room, there were two men that were standing inside that room, and in between them I saw that there was a coffin. It is a brown coffin. I was then given an instruction to get inside of that coffin. I went inside the coffin, and they closed the coffin, and all that I had been given was a small tree branch that I was told to hold throughout the night. Otherwise, I was going to die, because they closed and they secured the lid of that coffin. I could not even breathe. But then the charm that had been given to me by the Sangoma, it started to work its magic on me. All of a sudden, I started to breathe properly. As I was breathing, I then saw that I was no longer on this earth, but it seemed as if I was in another world, where I ended up seeing myself surrounded by demons. There was one demon in particular that walked towards the place where I was, and this demon then told me that it wanted to give me money. The demon came to me, and then it started to lead me into a forest. We walked in that forest, and then it told me that we were supposed to look for a snake. I did not know that when I was talking to this demon, the traditional healer was actually creating a doloshim of his own. And when I woke up the next morning, I was surprised, because I was not dead. I was fully alive, and I was then given a snake. The snake that was given to me, it represents a woman and a man. And then I was told to sleep with at least 3 women. These women, I was supposed to sleep with them at the same time, which was very difficult, because I started to think, and I said, where am I going to get the money to convince 3 women to sleep with me all at once? It is going to take a very long time for me to get that money. But to my surprise, when I returned back to Northspruit, when I got off from the taxi, I then heard the people that were in the taxi, and they said, "Oh, brother, you've forgotten your backpack." My backpack. I did not have anything. But then I took the backpack, which was heavy. I did not know what was inside. I returned back to the room where I was staying. It was just a small shack that I was renting out. I was not paying any rent money. Rather, every month I had to clean their house. I was the caretaker, and making sure that the people, they pay their rentals in time, the electricity, the water, and everything. They are not wasting. So that was the job that I was doing at the house in the location where I was staying. When I arrived back home, I was too tired. I think that I only had round about 25 rand. I then went to the spaza shop, and I bought bread, and I just returned back home so that I can just make a cup of tea to eat and go to bed. So when I was making that cup of tea, that was when a thought crossed my mind, and I said, why did those people force me to accept that this bag belongs to me, yet it does not belong to me? So then I took that bag. When I opened it up, I think that I fainted, because I woke up and I found myself, I was sleeping on the floor. I was holding a huge bundle of cash. This money, where I had gotten it from, I do not know. It was inside of that bag. It was something that I had never imagined in my entire life, that I would ever seen so much money. I quickly returned back to that traditional healer's house. This was the next morning, but I left the money. I was even afraid to walk around with the money because it was a lot. I had counted this money. It was close to 2 million. That was cash that was inside of that bag. When I arrived back in Bushbuckridge, that was when that Sangoma laughed at me and he said, "Oh man, you have already bought a car," because I had rented a car. I paid the guy and he just gave me money because I used to rent cars and I would do a job and return back. So I just drove very fast, went to Bushbuckridge, and then I returned back. He then said to me that he knew that I was going to come because he had sent the Sandawana with money. The money that I had seen, I was going to keep on seeing that money, and I was supposed to use that money wisely. I was going to be making more money. I was supposed to invest, and then that was when he gave me the rule that each and every year I am supposed to impregnate women that will give birth the next year, but these babies, they will be born dead, and I have to return back to him after the women would have given birth. And when this happens, when they give birth to dead babies, I'm not supposed to go to where the woman would have given birth at a hospital, private or government. I should just dump her in secret and just tell her that we can't be together anymore, as well as the issue of me hijacking women and sleeping with them, those that are severely mentally ill, those that you see following the highway or just staying underneath the bridge. Those were the rules that were given to me by the Sangoma. So I then agreed to everything. I was enjoying money. I started to buy trucks for cash. All the first trucks that I bought them for cash because I had zero credit score. So I'll just go to these dealerships where I would go there, and then I would just buy a truck and put that truck on the road. Life continued as normal until the day when I started my own company. I started my company, and my company started to do good, very well. And then I got some tenders and started getting some tenders and some contracts. And the trucks that I have right now, I get them on contract because I have a good credit score. My company, financially, we are doing okay. I even have white people that are working for me as admins because some of the companies that I am working for, they respect white people more than black people, if you know what I mean. So this is where I am right now, Brother Nashi. This Sandawana, it is giving me a lot of problems. I wish that this Sandawana, it can be returned, but that traditional healer, he told me that once I assist you, we are in this together. You do not have to throw my charms away, because once you throw my charms away, then you are going to die, or I'm going to curse you with the disease of spiritual madness. I do not want to be mad, because he said that all those women that you sleep with, those that are mad, you are going to become mad even 100 times more. Those women, you will be seeing those women that you used to hijack and sleep with them by force. You will see them if you try to throw away this Sandawana. I heard that there are a lot of Sandawanas in Zim. If there is any Sangoma who listen to your shows or on Facebook, please can you speak with him so that he can tell me what am I supposed to do as a person who is using a Sandawana in his life. What will happen to me? That is all that I want to know if I continue using this Sandawana, or if I throw it against the wishes of that traditional healer. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Let us speak with our dear brother in the comment section. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world using the lack of a Sandawana. Yo, yo, yeah, ne. I'll be back with another episode.